Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I want to talk to you guys about conserving the battery on your LPVO. Okay, so if you've got a low power variable optic and it has illumination, like most of them do, it probably does not have auto shut off, shake awake. But even if it does, right, like this one I have here, this is the primary arms M8 Raptor. This does have auto off, shake awake. However, if it's strapped onto your body and you're moving around, right, it's not going to auto sleep. If you have it set to daytime brightness, right, if you have it set to full brightness, it's going to eat through that battery very quickly. Okay, so an idea that I've been using, and I didn't invent it. It's just I heard it, I've tried it out, and I like it. An idea that I have heard and that's working pretty good is to basically set the illumination to nighttime, right? To set it to the lowest setting that you would use if you were either at night or if you go indoors, let's say into a basement where there's no lights. Set it to that setting, okay, and then leave it. And then while you're using the rifle, you can keep it on in that night setting. So what's going to happen is during the daytime, right, as you're, even though it's on, because it's at such a low setting, it's not going to eat through the battery very quickly. And in daytime, you're just going to use the etched reticle. Okay, so etched reticle usually works pretty good in daytime. In order for the illumination to be worth anything in the daytime, it has to be like nuclear bright. And if you're just running it off a battery, you're going to burn out that battery very quickly. So rather than trying to fight the battery, what I have been finding out over the last couple of months is just better to set it to a night setting, so that if I'm in very low light conditions, I have a reticle that I can get on my target and shoot. But in the daytime, I can just use the etched reticle. So that this way, for when I really need to have that illumination, which is at night, it will be there, okay? And in the daytime, using it with just the etched reticle is pretty decent. Okay, now obviously if you could keep it on at nuclear bright during the daytime, that would be better, right? But that technology is just not there right now, right? It's not there. Even on the brighter the reticle is, the faster it's going to eat through the battery. So that's what I've been finding. That's what I've been doing. I just keep it in the lowest nighttime setting, so that when it gets dark, at least now I have a reticle I can put on the target. Because if you don't have it, if you don't have some type of a reticle, you're just not going to have a point of aim, right? You're not going to have anything that you can put on your target. You might be able to see the target that you're shooting at, right? I can see the silhouettes here at night, but I can't see the etched reticle at all. But if I put it on that low night setting, I can get it on target, hit the targets. So that seems to make the most sense. It seems to work the best for me. That's the best way for me to always have the illumination when I really need it, which is when it's like very low light. And again, in the daytime, like if I'm going to be using the gun, I'm not going to switch it off, right? I'm just going to let it run in that really low setting, which is not eating up much of the battery. But then if, let's say, I go indoors into a basement where there's no light, I've got it's already on, right? I don't have to sit there, because the other option is, okay, you're just going to keep it off, right? You keep it off, but then let's say all of a sudden you end up indoors and the lights go off. Well, now you're fumbling with your gun, in the dark, trying to figure out how you're going to turn this thing on, okay? So that's why I don't love the idea of keeping it completely off and then turning it on when you need to use it, because if something happens, if the lights go off very suddenly, right? Somebody cuts the power line or something, and you're indoors, and all of a sudden you've got no reticle, and now you're sitting there in the dark trying to turn it on, maybe while you're being shot at. That's not a good position to be in. So it makes a lot more sense while you're carrying the gun on your body, right, and you have it loaded and safety on, and basically the gun's ready to be used at a moment's notice. It makes sense if you're running an LPVO to keep it in that nighttime setting, lowest possible setting, just enough so that you can see it and get it on target, and at the same time, it's not going to run down the battery. And even if, let's say, the lights are on and you don't need, you're not even going to be able to see it, right? You can't even see it in the, if it's in that nighttime setting and it's like night, like right now, it's like dusk. I have it in that night setting. Now I can kind of see it, right? About 10 minutes ago, there was a little bit more light. I could not see it in this setting, okay? So, but now because, and it's probably a little bit darker than the way you guys are seeing it in the camera. So that's what makes sense to me. That's what the thing that's been working. Keep it in the night setting. It'll still be on in the daytime, but you're not going to be able to see it. You're just going to use the etch reticle. But then if you end up indoors in the dark, you've got a reticle that you can use to aim. So let me know what you guys think of that idea. And like I said, even on this one over here, this is the Primary Arms M8. This has the auto off, auto on, right? The auto off, shake awake. However, that's great when you're storing the gun, right? So if you're keeping this for home defense, right? Yeah, you can keep it, you can leave it on. But the gun's not moving, so it's going to go off after 3 minutes on this. But if it's on your body and you're moving around, it's never going to go to sleep, okay? So it's going to wear out the battery. Now this one over here, this is the SLX 1-10x28, also Primary Arms. This does not have the auto off, but again, if it's going to be on your body, the auto off doesn't help you because you're moving, it's not going to go to sleep. So the only way to really conserve the battery is just to keep it at the lowest possible setting, okay, and use it the way I said. So thanks for watching. Let me know what you guys think. If you got some other ideas, please post in the comments. I'll talk to you all soon.